Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Auto News Now from Los Angeles. Here at the LA Auto Show, I'm Tom Morabet.
And I'm Jennifer Vong. More from the show floor in just a moment.
But first, news out of General Motors. Stunning news out of Detroit, where GM has filed a federal racketeering lawsuit against Fiat Chrysler. The UAW corruption probe is at the heart of the lawsuit. GM alleges FCA, under the direction of late CEO Sergio Marchionne, was a clear sponsor of pervasive wrongdoing, paying millions of dollars in bribes to obtain benefits, concessions, and advantages in recent labor agreements. Also named as defendants, former executives Alphons Iacobelli, Jerome Durden, and Michael Brown. All three pleaded guilty to charges in the UAW probe. The UAW was not named in the suit. The complaint alleges that Marchionne was a central figure in conceiving, executing, and sponsoring the fraudulent activity. Marchionne died last year. The suit alleges FCA corrupted the negotiation, implementation, and administration of the 2011 and 2015 bargaining agreements. It also accuses FCA of corrupting the implementation of a post-bankruptcy contract revision in 2009. GM says the manipulation led to unfair labor costs and operational advantages for FCA that harmed GM as a result. Now to FCA's reaction.
Tom, in a statement, FCA saying, quote, "We are astonished by this filing, both its content and its timing. We can only assume this was intended to disrupt our proposed merger with PSA, as well as our negotiations with the UAW. We intend to vigorously defend against this meritless lawsuit and pursue all legal remedies in response to it." In 2017, federal prosecutors revealed that millions of dollars intended to train workers was spent by the UAW and FCA leadership on air travel, solid gold pens, a swimming pool, a house, a Ferrari, and more. GM's general counsel Craig Glidden telling reporters that GM is seeking substantial damages and that any money received would be invested in the U.S. to benefit GM employees and increase jobs. Glidden saying, quote, "FCA conceived of the conspiracy, orchestrated the fraud." The lawsuit comes at a precarious time for FCA. After securing new contracts with GM and Ford, the UAW turned to the automaker this week to formalize a new 4-year labor deal. And it comes just 3 weeks after it announced plans to merge with Peugeot owner PSA Group to create the world's 4th largest automaker. GM secured a new labor contract with the UAW in October, but the deal did not come easily. The union staged a 40-day strike against the automaker. GM projects the strike cost them almost $3 billion. We spoke with our Chief Content Officer, Jamie Butters, here in LA.
It's just stunning. We've never seen anything like this kind of a suit between one automaker and another when it's not over intellectual property or design or some process. So to have this labor bribery be called out by one company against another, really on behalf of their shareholders, is, I'm pretty sure that's unprecedented. I've certainly never seen it in my 20 years covering the industry. I think it's really curious. It's interesting because clearly GM is building on the federal prosecutor's case against the UAW. One of the defendants is Al Iacobelli, who was working in GM's labor relations department. The former FCA official was working for GM when he got indicted as part of the UAW investigation. So it would seem they didn't really know all of this was happening until it came to light as part of the federal investigation into the UAW. But GM is not blaming the UAW. They're putting all the blame on Sergio Marchionne and Fiat Chrysler and casting the UAW really as unwitting victims who couldn't withstand the millions of dollars that were being thrown at them to mislead their members and to, I guess, also in some way give a disadvantage to GM. It might be curious to see if Ford would follow along if they also felt victimized by this policy.
For more, visit autonews.com.
Let's move to product. Here at the LA show, BMW introducing a pair of electrified vehicles. The X3 xDrive 30e plug-in hybrid crossover is the first ever plug-in hybrid variant of BMW's best-selling model in the U.S. It has an electric-only range of roughly 20 miles. The plug-in hybrid arrived stateside in the first quarter of 2020. Meanwhile, the redesigned 330e plug-in hybrid will undergo a performance and range boost when it makes its way to showrooms in the spring. BMW also showing the M8 Gran Coupe, M2 CS, and 2 Series Gran Coupe at the show.
And the 2020 North American Car, Utility, and Truck of the Year finalists were announced here this morning. Vying for Car of the Year, the Chevy Corvette Stingray, Hyundai Sonata, and Toyota Supra. Meantime, the Hyundai Palisade, Kia Telluride, and Lincoln Aviator are utility finalists. And competing for Truck of the Year, the Ford Ranger, Jeep Gladiator, and Ram Heavy Duty. The winner in each category will be unveiled in January at the TCF Center in Detroit. We'll have lots more from the show floor tomorrow morning on First Shift.
And of course, for breaking news 24/7, keep it locked right here at autonews.com. Take care. We'll see you soon.